wrap up the home field advantage this weekend in the NFC. But according to our friends at Caesars Sportsbook by William Hill, Aaron Rodgers is the odds-on favorite for MVP going into the last week of the season, sitting at minus 380 odds. However, Patrick Mahomes is still lingering with plus 310 odds. So it's getting interesting in the MVP race. Want to bring back in Neek, RC, Graz. Okay, Neek, I start with you. Who is your MVP right now?
I mean, you can't go wrong with Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, but I feel like you have to go with Aaron Rodgers because at the end of the season, he is playing his best ball right now, coming off of last week where Aaron Rodgers played outstanding and Patrick Mahomes had a bit of a slip up. I think you could look back on on Aaron Rodgers' season and find other incidences where he had bad games, just like Patrick Mahomes had last week, and they ended up losing. However, the time of it matters. Like, we all talk about recency bias as if it's a bad thing, but when you're talking about a value of a player, it matters. It helps to be playing as well as you can at this time. And that's all I got on that. But I do want to know, for one thing for RC, when you get to his analysis, I need him to let me know if Mercedes' album ever came out. They was advertising it in every single No Limit album that I bought. I remember seeing her stand in front of that car 37 times. That album ain't never come out. Not
Guys,
one
you and I will
time.
talk about No Limit after the show. I'll explain all of this. RC, what do you think? Who's your MVP?
Who's going to explain it to you?
It's Aaron Rodgers. It's Aaron Rodgers. When you look at the season in its totality, I mean, you could go back to the Tampa Bay game and you look at that as the singular game that Aaron Rodgers wasn't really good in. Even the Minnesota loss, him and Devontae Adams go off in the first half. Obviously, Dalvin Cook plays great down the stretch, and he also played pretty well against the Indianapolis Colts. When you think about Patrick Mahomes in Miami, Patrick Mahomes against New Orleans Saints, even though he did all he had to win the game, and obviously against the Atlanta Falcons with the 2 interceptions or with the interception, you look at it and you say, okay, Aaron Rodgers is playing better ball right now. The QBR is in Aaron Rodgers' favor. The touchdown to interception ratio is in Aaron Rodgers' favor. And also the narrative and the story is, right? You're talking about a guy, they draft your replacement in the first round. All we talked about all offseason is how you didn't have weapons, and this is what you do with that team. Aaron Rodgers has earned this award, and to win it on the back half of your career in this way is very impressive.
The story matters, Dan. The story matters, just like About It, the movie that is Ryan Smith's favorite movie.
You guys would kill us in the media for saying that the guy should win the MVP award based on a narrative. And I'm sitting here listening to you guys talk about
I'm in the media,
narrative
bro.
points this way. Who cares what the narrative is? Who would you rather have? You can take you can have a draft right now. You take either guy. Who would you pick?
Not how it goes.
Who would you pick?
Not how it goes.
Who would you
I would
pick?
have always taken Michael Jordan. I would have always taken. I take LeBron.
Who would you pick?
But he ain't win the
Mahomes
MVP.
or Aaron Rodgers? I didn't
I would
ask you
pick
about
Patrick
LeBron.
Mahomes.
Of course
Patrick
you would,
Mahomes,
because he's the
Dan.
most valuable guy in the whole league.
Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
Close. And I don't care about Aaron Rodgers has no help. That's false. He's got a better offensive line. His wide receivers get more separation than Kansas City's or anybody else's. I don't buy it. I think the narrative stuff is overblown. Mahomes is my MVP, and he should be, and he won't be, but he should be.
It's personal. Why is it personal for you? Is
It's not
Mahomes
personal.
going to give you his trophy?
That is not the spirit in which Culture Wednesday was built, Daniel. That's not it. That is not our
Exactly
spirit.
the spirit of
Unity.
Let's go to
The 8 on the front, the 24 in the back. We've actually seen Russell Wilson take those steps, right? At the beginning of the season, he was the young 8 Kobe. He was shooting. He was trying to cook. He was trying to do it all. Now we've watched this team transition, and we get the 2-4 Kobe when he had Lamar, when he had Paul Gasol. He's facilitating the Metcalf. He's giving the ball to Carson. This defense has picked up. This team is now playing championship-level football. It's not all about what Russ can do. It's about the team. And this is the way that Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks win. If you want to go into the playoffs, if you want to play at teams like this, you got to have a finisher. Bean was a finisher. Russell will be a finisher. They have a shot to be a Super Bowl contender. And now I'm going number 4 to the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints do it how it's supposed to be done in the NO. You got a defense, and that defense is like True. That defense is like Master P. It's like No Limit. It's like the Tank. They come at you in waves. It's different people. It might be Mia X. It might be Silk the Shaka. Mystical. No matter who it is, they are coming. Whether it's Hendrickson, Cam Jordan on the outside. You also have great corners in Janoris Jenkins, and now you have Marshawn Lattimore, safeties playing well. And offensively, Alvin Kamara has gotten that thing going. He is cash money. When you give him the football, this is a better football team. Sean Payton needs to stick to this. If you want to go in Green Bay to win, it's not Drew Brees that wins that game. It's Alvin Kamara. Give him the ball, let him rock, let him cook. That's the way to win. And at number 3, I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, I know the Packers were higher on the ESPN list, but it ain't their list. It's my list. And on my list, Aaron Rodgers is still a bad man. Aaron Rodgers has shown he can do it all. Devontae Adams playing at the top level at his position. But it's about the defense. Can they stop the run like we saw them do against Derrick Henry? Will Jair? Will Kevin King? Will they lock up on the outside? And will Darnell Savage continue to make plays from the safety position? Right now, they're the top dogs in the NFC. We understand everything has to go through Lambeau. When it goes through Lambeau, it gets cold. It gets tough. And Dez knows they are tough to beat. But they can be beat. They have to stay on it. This defense has to continue to play. Aaron Rodgers has to continue to dominate. And at number 2 is the Buffalo Bills. Monday night, I got to go on and apologize to Bills Mafia and say I'm sorry for being late on Josh Allen. I'm sorry for being late to the Buffalo Bills. And they welcomed me to the bandwagon. But it's not about the bandwagon. It's about Stephon Diggs being worth all the money. It's about Josh Allen earning all the money. And I am on the money train like Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, and J-Lo was back in the day. This team is the second best team in all of football. It's going to be a fight for 4 quarters if they get to match up with the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. Josh Allen feels like he's the best quarterback in the league. Stephon Diggs playing like the best wide receiver.